Hi all, this is daveac.blip.tv and this is vblog 082 for Friday the 12th of February 2010. It's just 2 days before Valentine's Day, so romantic music, roses and wine as Valentine Day approaches. Well, a mixed bag as per usual today, but of course wine as always at the end. I just want to start off by saying that on the Blip TV site or elsewhere on the internet, you might have seen that I've done a little short trailer, a new trailer for 2010 for this vlog. I think I'd have to do it again because I did it and it went on for about 6 minutes, and I think really I need to do something a little bit shorter and snappy, something under 2 minutes. So look out, there may be a new trailer soon. But for now, let's get on with the show. There is a little bit of Doctor Who news, but it's a little bit more varied today than perhaps usually. Okay, well, let's start off with that Doctor Who related stuff. And of course, I'd like to mention that what's happening on the Gallifreyan Embassy with their Podshock, Doctor Who Podshock. Podshock, so that's a lot, haven't I? Well, there's some advertising for them. Podshock 182 is just gone out with Lewis, Ken and James, and Kat. Cybergirl, I think, is her Twitter name, and very nice to hear a different new voice on the show, and she made a great contribution to it. Well done. They were talking about the change from Christopher Eccleston into David Tennant, because that's what they've been doing each week, doing one of the transitions, as we of course get very near now to the exciting time of the era of the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith and Stephen Moffat being in the chair. The next podcast that they're going to do, presumably 183, will be their pre-galley show, because of course the whole gang are meeting up again at Galley 21, and that's the weekend of the 20th and the 21st of February. So they'll be really getting excited now. But before they go off to that, they promised that they will be doing a pre-galley show, so I'll be looking out for that. With the podcast that I'm more involved with, of course, that's the Cult and Collective podcast with Ian the Sixth Doctor. We seem to be doing very nicely. Thank you for all those people that join in and download the show. We quite regularly now make it into the Talk Show Top 100 in at least one of the categories of listen to our downloaded shows. So thank you for that. On Sunday, I had to manage without Ian because he's doing his drama work, which soon should be finishing. But again, unfortunately, he won't be with us this coming Sunday. So just to recap, last Sunday we did about sport in Sci-Fi, and I was ably helped by Darth Skeptical. Thank you, Darth. And I hope you will check that out on the Talk Show site, 54821, or go to iTunes and subscribe there. In the evening, of course, because he'd done a Sunday show, Ian was available, and with Mike Randa Thor, we did another little studio show, and I'll be just showing the page. We got the info from that, but it was from the Empire Online site, and we were doing about movies in limbo. So the title of that studio show was Cultdom in Limbo. So hope you'll check that out. A shorter show, about an hour and 15 minutes or so. So please check that out. This coming Sunday, lots of news, isn't it? Sorry about that. This Sunday is, because of Valentine's Day, Love in Sci-Fi. Now, I've just made a little list for those people who want to prepare for it and are hoping to come online. Some of the films that are either science fiction, fantasy, or cult related that have love in them. In no particular order, I just jotted these down before doing this. These are City of Angels, Sliding Doors, Highlander, The Day After Tomorrow, Starman, Witches of Eastwick, My Stepmother is an Alien, When the Earth Stood Still, Matrix, The Time Traveller's Wife. So those are some of the ones that may get a mention on the show, and hopefully you can think of more to add if you come on live. That's TalkShow ID 54821, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the TalkShow site. And hope to hear from you there. Now, another couple of little bits of Doctor Who related things. If you go to Digital Spy, be very careful, because there, especially in the cult section, there is a spoiler warning of a returning baddie coming to the next season of Doctor Who, and the actual title of that baddie is in the item's title. So only go to Digital Spy cult section if you don't mind being spoiled, and I'm not going to say anything here. And one last thing, Doctor Who related. I did about this DVD, The Invasion of Time, Fourth Doctor story, and I said, blimey, it was recorded 22 years ago. Well, of course, the actual date when it went aired was in 4th of February to the 11th of March, 1978. So that, in actual fact, was 32 years ago. So that's another of the DVDs that I'd recommend if you really want to get into the classic Doctor Who, because of course that takes you to Gallifrey. The story is set on Gallifrey, so one to check out. So that's all the Doctor Who related stuff. We'll just talk about one or two other things that have a slight link in to Valentine's Day. Right. Oh, got some music. And the music I've got is from, because we haven't had any classical music for a while, and it's this CD, hoping that's focusing, Romantic Violin. There are 17 tracks on here. It's a special compilation of the, it's not, I thought it was Nexus, it's not, it's Deutsche Grammophon, Galleria. And the track I'm going to play is The Swan from Carnival of the Animals, Camille Saint-Saëns, never pronounce it correctly, and I've got that set up over here, so let's see if we can hear that. Let's turn the volume up a bit. Wish that would focus quicker. And of course I'll have to stop it in a moment. That should put you in a romantic mood, shouldn't it? Romantic Violin. And that's a mid-price one. Hope it's still available. Okay, let's move on. Right, if Valentine's Day is something that you are obviously hoping to enjoy, may I make a suggestion, especially if you're a person that's in the UK? I do a wine at the end of this show, but one of the great things that got me, and I was answering somebody on Facebook about this, that because I try and taste different wines as often as I can. So I can't often afford it, but I try to, and I usually try and get like the one today. I got it half price, so it's a wine I wouldn't normally drink. Because it's too expensive unless it was a special occasion. But I managed to get it at a reduced price, so that's why I was sampling that today. But two things got me testing and trying more wines. One was the fact that I went on Randelow's the New Wine Consumer Wine Brands podcast, and that was with Randelow and his wife Evelyn. There's over 100 and, well, I think there's nearly 118 of their episodes on TalkShoe, and the ID for that is 11888. They're still getting a tremendous number of downloads, although there are no live new shows being recorded at the moment. They stopped about 4 or 5 months ago because of other commitments. But it forms a great library of people interested in learning more about wine. And I certainly wasn't there as an expert. I was a little bit of a co-host for about the last 50 of those episodes, helping with the sort of running of this show in terms of getting up web pages and putting in links and so on. But of course, Randall and his wife Evelyn, who has a book out, Wine Brands, they were the experts. And of course, there are other people that come on the show and interview. So that is a great little place to find out more about wine. And that's what got me trying more. But then I went to a wine event, like a night school or a one-day school. And that would make a great present for anybody for sort of like a Valentine's Day gift or a birthday gift. And it's called, here in the UK, it's called Wine on Earth. And they have various events around various cities. I, of course, went to the one in Manchester. And again, when I move the camera, I'll show you a few little bits and pieces about that. So that is something about wine. And one more thing before I do that, it's a while ago also since I've done a book. So I picked a book which I've not really got very far through, so I'm going to actually talk more about it next week. But it fits in nicely with the Valentine's theme, because the book is called The Rose. Charles L. Harness. Look at that. Michael Moorcock says one of the 5 best sci-fi novels ever. And let me read what it says on the back. The Rose is a thrilling, beautifully accomplished tale of science at war with art for the ultimate and for the flowering of the superhuman. Jealousy is here, and hatred and intrigue. Also is love and exaltation, interwoven with perfect choreography upon a marvellous cameo stage, which suddenly expands to span the galaxy. More is said here, and with a defter touch, than in a dozen other books. So that's one of the reviews. It's a very classic and modern science fiction, unique in its mind-stretching implications. This edition also includes 2 shorter stories. So, really, a book that I have read before. I haven't got far enough into it to say much more than that, but it's from the legendary Sci-Fi Classics series, and it's a Granada book, blimey. Okay, well, let's see if we can focus on the number. You want to research it. Okay, so more about that next week. Well, jumping about, aren't we? I've got a little bit of tech stuff. So let me just do the tech stuff first. I don't like moving the camera around a lot, as you know. Well, 2 things. We talk about with Valentine's Day that you're looking at a person through rose-coloured glasses. Well, I've got 2 tech things that aren't rose-coloured glasses, but they do help you somewhat. One is these 3D glasses. They're the glasses that I had to buy for about $1 when I went to see Avatar in 3D. And of course, these are passive glasses. I don't think you'll see it, but basically there are polarized lenses. One is polarized in the vertical plane and one in the horizontal plane, so that you see the picture with the alternate eyes. Should I say, one eye sees one that's not polarized that way, and so on. The ones that they're developing for TV systems will be active glasses. They will have to have some sort of battery power and an actual link, either an infrared link or a wired link to the TV, and they will flash at 60 frames a second in sync with the screen that will show alternate left and right images. So it will do this sort of thing. They were very effective. There was some worry that a lot of people, and I think there still is, that some people feel a bit bilious after watching Avatar and get a bit headachy. Rather surprisingly, I came out of having watched it nearly 3 hours long, and it wasn't too bad. My eyes seemed to cope. Even my brain coped, and there's a miracle right there and then. So that's one little thing. Of course, you keep them, you bought them. The idea is if you go and re-watch that film, I'll see another 3D film, you don't have to buy the glasses again. And here's another tech item. This is something I use a lot, and I think I'm going to need it with the bottle of wine today. It's a really good magnifier. Oh gosh, that's going to be a bit, oh dear me, that's a bit frightening, isn't it, folks? Let's do it on something a little bit more, give you a sneak preview of the wine. I don't suppose that's going to work. No, it's not going to really give you the effect here. But anyway, really useful having one of these in the home. You can buy them in the round ones. This is one we had in a long time ago because my late wife had visual impairment, so she needed to use that at least in the early stages. So that's a tech item, and I've been waffling on for some time, so let's go over and show you those little things I was going to show you about Wine on Earth, and before that the Empire Online, and then we'll get to the wine. So I know there's quite a few people who like that little bit, so let me get this camera. I'm going to try not to knock it about today. And here it is. This is the page that we were referring to on the Cultdom Studio show about films stuck in limbo. Okay, movies lost in limbo, and it's the Empire site. I always like to credit where we get this information from, and it's www.empireonline.com/features/movies lost in limbo. Let's just see if that will focus. There you are. And those were the ones we're referring to. And it's worth looking at if you're listening to the podcast or haven't yet listened to it, because they give little references. So there are 10, and of course you have to switch pages to get to the different ones. So let's see what the next one is. Lethal Weapon 5, and there are pictures for each of those. So that is from that Cultdom Studio show, Cultdom in Limbo. Okay, wine workshops. Yes, this would make a great present for a birthday or a romantic Valentine's Day. Obviously, it's too late to actually go for Valentine's Day, but it's something you could give as a present. So this particular place, Wine on Earth, wine tasting workshops. This is the Manchester one. I went to the one on New World Wines, but they do different workshops on different dates. Let's see what the ones are. Typical ones. A typical day is learn how to taste and analyse wine like a professional. Then in the morning, white wines from around the world. Then after a break, red wines from around the world, and then a wine challenge and question time following on from that. So that is, let's give them a close-up as well. Focus. www.wineonearth.co.uk, and that's the Manchester SAT HTML. And of course, they have their home page here. Wine tasting workshops. Great gift. Book online. Telephone 01477 537072. But that, of course, is in the UK. Let's see. Have I got another page there? Oh, that's the same one I've got prepared. And on my photo bucket site, here are some of the pictures I took to the one I went, and this is again in my photo bucket thing. I'm going to try and read that all out. Good, the camera's helping today. There you are, that DAC 100, and this is in my wine album. And these are some of the wines that we tasted. I'll just close up on one because this was, I think, the favourite wine I tasted there. Hopefully it'll come up quickly. And it was a Penfolds Bin 128 Shiraz. That's an Australian wine. That was absolutely beautiful. And one other wine was there, That was the Ravenswood Zinfandel. That was beautiful as well. But there were some lovely little wines that we had. And if I can just move forward one page, and I'm worried about the time now, I should be really tasting my wine now. Right at the bottom, there's the chap at the front. Unfortunately, that was at the Midland Hotel when it was held. He was jumping about a bit, so unfortunately the chap who was doing it is out of focus. But he's at the front with the wines, and we're all on separate tables in little groups of 5 and 6, and you got chatting with people, and the wines were really great. Very, very, very enjoyable day out. I think it cost me about 60 odd pounds, so let's call it the equivalent of $100. But of course you did get to taste a lot of quite good, decent wines. Okay, I think that's about it there. We can come back and we can taste a wine. Well, I can taste it and you can watch. So, what's the wine today, David? Well, rather a bit of a treat for me. It's although it is in actual fact from not a particularly good year, it's French wine. It's 2007, which probably explains why it's been reduced. So let's see if the camera's still focusing for me. There we are. Chateau Clos Renaud, and probably pronounced and munched, that's it. Bordeaux Superior, bottle of producer France, of course. And it is only 12.5% by volume. And let's see if it stays in focus. Come on, David, it's taking a long time. There we are. Okay, 2007 wasn't a particularly good year. 2005 was excellent. 2006 was not quite so good. 2007, I think, was quite a poorish wine. I think some of the big wine producers didn't actually put a vintage out 2007, but of course a lot of that will still be aging in oak as we speak. I mean, some of them have all just put out their 2005, 2006 wines, haven't they? Okay, beautiful colour. We've got quite a musty smell. There's fruits, black fruit and fruit, dark fruit, but there's quite a sort of earthiness coming out of this. Oh, that is nice. There's quite a bit of tannins in there. There's a little bit of oak. I think there's almost a bit of smokiness in there. Certainly vanilla in it. Now, people listen to what I talk about. I tend to like these big Cabernets and big Shirazes that, 13.5%, 14.5%. But this packs a punch. You wouldn't necessarily know this was 12.5% because it punches above its weight. It's full-bodied. It's got a long, dryish finish. Those are the tannins coming through, of course. Yeah, you can tell that's an old world wine. It's definitely very, very pleasant. It was, would you believe, supposedly £13, £12.99, and I got it for, I think it was £5.99. It was reduced. I don't know whether it's because it's not particularly sold well. Let's have a look what it says. It's a small vineyard with just 25 hectares, and it's planted with the classic Bordeaux varieties of Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc. The blend is predominantly Merlot, which gives suppleness, roundness and body to the wine. The Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc combine perfectly with this Merlot to give the wine a rich, complex nose, hints of blackcurrant and a delicate elegance. Well, I would absolutely agree with that. Very, very nice and very, very pleasant, and obviously probably go even better with food. So I think I'm up to my time limit. So with that, this is Dave AC on vblog 082 saying don't forget to try and catch us on TalkShoe 54821 for the Colton Collective, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we talk about love in sci-fi. Bye all.